Welcome back to the breakdown. Today is Tuesday, August 13th. 15 MLB games on the slate. We're going to dive into each of them. As always, they're all timestamped down below in case you want to jump around. Then we wrap up the video. We're going to talk about some hot and cold hitters, some good and bad matchups, and we'll wrap up with a parlay play parlay. So as always, if you are new, my name's Austin. If you want to see our best bets video, which the broom gets brought out in that video on a 5-0 run that should be posted right after this video, so definitely tap into it. I will link it down below in the description and at the end of the video. And as I teased at the end of this video, we will have a parlay play entry. If you've ever signed up for parlay play, number one, you should definitely consider it because they're giving you a 100% deposit match up to $100, so potential for $100 free dollars. What are you waiting for? It's free money. The only way you get that, you got to use our code COS or the link in the description. And parlay play is pretty cool. We have a ton of those in the NFL, and we've been doing a bunch of them in the MLB as well. But without further ado, all those details are down below in the description. Let's dive into the picks in the games. We're going to talk about the Nationals and Orioles first. Now here you have an over-under at 9. We have Trevor Rogers making his third start for the O's. Jake Irvin will go for the Nationals today. Now, without spoiling anything, we will be on this game in some way or another. We're going to be on probably both teams to score in the first 5. Trevor Rogers, love him or hate him, he's always given up a run or two. Jake Irvin against the O's team that's been a top 10 offense against righties. Gonna be a tough spot for him. I still don't know if I'd want to take the O's minus 1.5. I obviously do think the Orioles win this game. Their bullpen, though, I mean, you look at that 25th in bullpen ERA last 2 weeks. It's been just terrible. And sure, they made some acquisitions at the trade deadline. Those guys haven't been any better. So, look, I don't really trust the O's. If I'm going to back the O's anyway, it's probably their team total. Nationals bullpen has not been good either. Kind of like the over in this game. I wish it was 8.5. Probably would have taken it. But I think the Nats, who have seen Trevor Rogers already twice this year, given, he was with the Marlins in their division, I think they can score runs. I think the O's can score runs. I think there's runs in the bullpen. So I do like an over in this game. That's probably the only thing I would bet. I don't really want to lay minus 180 on the money line, although if you want to, I think they win this game pretty easily for the O's. But you never know, the Nats are a scrappy team. They'll win one in this series. Could it be today? We'll see. Now, the second game is the Cubs versus the Guardians. What a game yesterday this one was. Cubs up early, down 5, storm back, tie it, and the Guardians put it away in the bottom of the 8th, and then Class A comes in for his third straight time. I'm willing to tell you, Class A will not be pitching today. There's no way they run him out there 4 straight days in a row. You can't with your closer. But today you have Javier Assad versus Matthew Boyd making his first start of the year. Now, I'm not surprised to see the Guardians as slight favorites here. I don't really trust. I don't like Assad. I think you see those first 3 letters in his name. That's kind of how I feel about him. But as for Boyd, he's not a guy I like either. And the Cubs have been red hot against lefties. When you see those splits, second in batting average, that OPS is insane. Honestly, I don't mind the Cubs in this spot here. I think this is another game that probably does go over. Sure, the over-under still at 8.5, but I like both these two offenses. Assad will give up his runs. Matthew Boyd's going to probably give up his runs, probably not out there too long. I think there's runs in this game. So I like an over. Not trying to want to bet the Guardians, given a guy starting his first time of the year. But if you want to back the Guards, you certainly can. I think they're the better team. But the Cubs are swinging hot bats. They put up 8 runs yesterday, and they're facing a guy making his first start of the year. I think there's runs up plenty in that game. Next game is Marlins and Phillies. Now, TBD on the Marlins starter. I believe it's going to be Viente Biozo against Taijuan Walker, who appears to be making his return from the Phillies on the IL. He was out for a long time. An 8.5 total. I kind of lean an under in this spot. I just don't like taking unders in Citizens Bank Park, and I don't know if it's confirmed to be Biozo, but if it is him, he's solid. I mean, he had one bad start against the Red Sox, but outside of that, he's been pretty good. As the Phillies offense, it still really hasn't figured it out a ton. Coming back home, which is where their offense is normally at its best, I'm probably not taking an under only because of those 2 bullpens down there. I don't think maybe a first 5 under or something like that. I think this is a little slower starting game, but those bullpens have been liable, both to give up plenty of runs. So not really a game I have a strong lean on, given I don't really know the starter. And again, Taijuan Walker making his return. Not really a game I want to see running out to back. I think there's better games on the board to attack. Next game, we have the Mariners taking on the Tigers. These 2 teams just played, I swear, like a few days ago, and you just had George Kirby versus Tariq Skubal. I don't think they faced off against each other in the same game, but they both just faced off against their respective offenses. Skubal, I believe, went 7 and gave up 2 to the Mariners. I want to say Kirby only went 5, and I think he gave up 2 or 3 against the Tigers. I don't really like this game a ton. I think you have a 7.5 total in a pick'em. I lean runs in this game, but these 2 offenses are hard to really want to back. Mariners are coming off their sweep. They've won, I think, 4 straight, swept the Mets in that series. But now they're on the road, and where I never really want to trust them. And then the Tigers are just an offense that's been absolutely terrible against righties. They did hit George Kirby well, but will he pitch? Will make his adjustments? We'll see. But typically, when you see a team seeing a pitcher for the second straight time in a week, you normally would want to lean towards there being runs, and the pitching, normally you give the advantage to the hitters. So I do lean runs in this game. Don't know if I want to take it over with Skubal on the mound. He's been that dominant this year, but I think there's runs early. I think we see Kirby and Skubal maybe give up 1 or 2 apiece. And then you get to the bullpens, you're just asking for potentially 1 there, maybe 2 from one of the bullpens. I mean, if you get a bullpen, there's really no wiggle room with a 7 total if you're taking an under. If one bullpen arm comes in and starts selling, then you got 3-4 runs in 1 inning, then you're kind of cooked. So I do lean an over in this game. Probably not going to be popular over because people see Kirby and Skubal, but those are the games that go over, ones that have no business going over. Next one, we have Cardinals taking on the Reds. Now, yesterday, a lot of runs early. They dried up completely. Not a huge surprise given the bullpens have been, solid over the past few weeks for both these two teams. Today, we got Eric Fetty making his second or third start for the Cardinals. Going against Hunter Green. Now, I want to bet anything here. Maybe I'm looking at taking the Reds on the money line again. I want to note, though, I do think there's runs in this game. I actually looked at the over at 8.5. Hunter Green's been really good, but he's due a bad start. And the Cardinals certainly have the bats to make it a bad start. And in Great American Ballpark, you get 2 guys on, 1 swing of the bat, and boom, there's 3 runs. I do like an over in this game, over at 8.5. I don't think I'd want to bet the Reds. That feels pretty square taking Hunter Green. He's been super good. Yesterday going under with what I categorize Sonny Gray and Andrew Abbott. Not great pitchers. Now you have guys that with good ERAs and stuff. I think this is the game that goes over. I think bullpens give up runs. I think Hunter Green's going to give up 2 or 3 here. I think Fetty will do his job, but I think we'll see Fetty at least, give up 3 himself. So I think Hunter Green goes out there, pitches well. I do have his under and earned runs in my parlay play entry at the end of the video, but I do think that he gives up at least 1 or 2. He gives up a solo bomb or 2 here and there. I don't think he has a great game, but I think he still stays under earned runs. Just might be an inefficient one, given the Cardinals can't hit with runners in scoring position right now. But if you can get Hunter Green out of there early, maybe on that Reds bullpen, you can get something going. Next game, we have Yosei Kikuchi taking on Shane Baz. Shane Baz, I always forget how to pronounce his name. Astros and Rays, another 7.5 total here. Rays, slight underdogs, plus 115. This is a game I'll lean runs in. Look, Shane Baz, he's bad. He's bad. I'm going to call it spade a spade. He is pretty bad. Kikuchi has looked great with the strikeouts, 19 Ks, but he's still getting hit around, and the Rays are an offense that are a little trolly. They do have, Junior Caminero. He should be making his, not his debut because he played last year, but should be just called up. Hopefully he's in the lineup today because the Rays, don't know why they didn't call him up several weeks ago, but whatever. And the Rays, they haven't been great with runners in scoring position, but they can't get any worse. What I say, Kikuchi, they've seen him plenty, especially being a former Blue Jay. They've seen him a ton. And Shane Baz, I don't think is any good. Bullpens have been really good, though, lately, but I think there's runs in this game. So give me the over, 7.5. I do like that. Next game, we have A's and Mets. Now, I'm going to be honest, when I was looking and making our best bets video, which we actually did record before this video that I'm recording right now, I wanted to back the Mets. But the problem with the Mets, and the reason I wanted to back them is because Ross Stripling is terrible. The problem with the Mets is they're kind of falling off on offense. They had a terrible series against the Mariners, and that reflects in their stats. Against righties, 28th, 30th, 28th. I mean, they've been absolutely terrible. On the flip side, Oakland has not been much better. I don't know what to do here. I think the total's dropping to 8. I don't want to, every time I take an under with the Mets, they figure it out. They score 6 runs, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then I try to back the Mets, and they suck. I don't want to take an under with Ross Stripling on the mound. And Paul Blackburn is obviously a former A, and they've seen him obviously a ton. I've not batted against him, but they know exactly his kind of pitch arsenal and what they're going to be seeing because they've just coached him for so long. So they should be prepared here. I do lean. I don't know what I lean, honestly, here. I think there's runs. I don't know how many runs. That's the question. 2 offenses that just bottom of the barrel recently. Until they figure it out, probably not touching a lot in those respective games. Next, we have Rangers taking on the Red Sox. Now, we have an over-under 9.5 or 10. Our boy Jose Urena goes for the Rangers today against Cutter Crawford. Crawford was really good beginning of the year, falling off completely. Rangers, though, are an offense that, man, count me out on the Rangers. They just cannot get timely hits. Sure, they're 278 batting average with runners in scoring position. That is a lie. They paid Fangraphs to fix that stat because that should be .070. They never get you timely hits when you need them. But I lean runs here. Both these bullpens are terrible. That's kind of what did they end 5-4 yesterday, so still went under. I think there's runs here. I think Rangers had their chances. They went 0 for 6 and runners in scoring position. Finally got us a 5th inning run, which helped us cash our parlay of the day. I think there's runs here. Jose Urena sucks. Obviously, Duran is still suspended today. No comment on that. Devers is in a hole. We'll talk about him at the end of the video. I lean runs, but I don't know if it's my most confident lean that I've given out in this video. Next one, we have Twins taking on Royals taking on Twins. You have Seth Lugo going. Pick him. Seth Lugo, it's been really good. I understand why it's a pick him. Minnesota Twins pitcher, I don't know who it is. There might be Bailey Ober at the end of the video. We have some good splits. First, Bailey Ober. A lot of Royals have hit him well. I'm going to assume it's Bailey Ober. He is a righty. So Kansas City, you're in luck there against right-handed pitching. If it's not him, it's not confirmed him. So I can't say, hey, it's going to be him. Both offenses have been pretty good. Yesterday, the game did go over. What was it, 6-3, I think, final. Pablo Lopez cashes under and earned runs. We appreciate him. This is a game that I don't really want to touch a ton. I don't trust the Royals bats on the road. If this were at home, let's say it was Seth Lugo at home taking on, the Twins, I would probably back the Royals here. But the Royals bats, I don't trust them on the road. I don't know if they're cheating at home, but I'm not going to trust them on the road. There's a reason I baited them yesterday. If Bailey Ober started today, probably wouldn't take anything with him just because you'll see Salvador Perez and Bobby Witt Jr. I've seen him really well. But I do lean probably an under in this game. I think this one does go under. Sure, the offensive looked good, but Lugo's been dominant. Maybe the wheels start to fall off. I don't know. This is just a weird game. Like I said, not a great lean. Some games I'm more confident in. Some games I'm not. I don't really have a great lean here. Next one, we have the Dodgers taking on the Brewers. Yesterday, the Dodgers won 5-2. Saw the return of Mookie Betts, who is staying in an Airbnb because he's afraid of ghosts and stuff. Whatever. We'll worry about that later. Dodgers short favorites, -130 or so. You see the Brewers short underdogs at +110. Over under at 8.5. I honestly like runs in this game. Gavin Stone has kind of fallen off of grace his last 5 starts. Brewers been a really good offense against righties. Didn't get anything going against Clayton Kershaw, the lefty, yesterday. I think they get things going against Gavin Stone. And Colin Ray, he's a guy due regression. And will the Dodgers give it to him? Maybe. But now they got their lineup that they want in there. I mean, you got Mookie, you got Shohei, you got Freddie, and Teoscar, who both sucked yesterday. But I think they put up some runs here. I like the over in this game. I think there's runs early. I think there's runs late. I think we see a lot of runs in this contest. So give me an over in this Brewers and Dodgers game. I think it's going to be in our parlay where we do both to score in the first 5. I just think these offenses each are putting up some runs. You get three or so runs through 6, and then you just need a run or 2 on those bullpens. I think there's runs in that game. Next game, oh man, this one's going to trigger some people. Yankees, White Sox. White Sox, big victory, 12-2 yesterday. If you predicted they'd win by 10 runs, you could retire today. Today, you have Nestor Cortez versus Jonathan Cannon. This is another game that I think there's runs here. I like the over at 9. I think Cannon gives up a lot of runs. Yankees crushing righties. I mean, Kai Bush guy, what did he do? Walk 7 guys. Yankees, I think, were 2 for 18 with runners in scoring position yesterday. Is that bad? Yeah, it's not good. I honestly, a play I'm looking at, and I might honestly add it to the card, is both teams to score 2 in the first 7 or something like that. I think the White Sox can get runs on Nestor. Nestor is just a straight fade. I don't care if the White Sox suck versus lefties. He's a straight fade for me. And the Yankees bullpen obviously didn't look good yesterday. Their bullpen ERA shot up after yesterday. Stella Santos gave it like 7. That's a big yikes. But again, both teams to score 2 through the first 7. It's not a bad play in my opinion. I think it was about -125, -130. The Yankees are going to score 2 against Cannon. They'll do that. It comes out if the White Sox can give you 2 against Nestor Cortez and potential for Yankees bullpen. I'm inclined to say they can. Cortez has been terrible on the road. They obviously haven't been great against lefties, but hey, maybe the White Sox bats are hot. +250, maybe worth a sprinkle. Look, no team is ever worth laying -300 on the money line, which the Yankees are once again today. I will say that. I will never take a -2.5. You got the wrong guy. Next game, we have the Blue Jays taking on the Angels. I like runs aplenty in this game. Fits a system where you talk about yesterday, game went under, short under. What was it? 6 total runs. Trash pitching yesterday. Today you have pitchers that look like good ERA. Kevin Gausman, Carson Fulmer. Today you get some runs. But their Blue Jays bats are starting to fall off a little bit. Angels bats have been kind of this same thing the whole season long. And again, Toronto's bullpen terrible. Angels offense, well, it'll come down to them if they can put up some runs. Gausman, some of them have some good splits against him. We'll talk about those guys in a little bit. I think they put up runs, though. Gausman's just not been great this year. He's been worse at home, so he's on the road here. So maybe he's a little bit better. Maybe he pitches decently here. Carson Fulmer, he gives up some base runners. He likes to give up a home run or two in each start. He doesn't go very far into games, so Angels bullpen will be needed here. I think there's runs, though, in this game. Still in the Blue Jays. I think them to win. I think Gausman could get on track here. But again, the Angels have some good splits against him. The Angels are a troll team. They just mess around. They troll around. When you don't expect them to win, that's when they win. That's what I'm just saying. Next game, we have the Rockies taking on the D-backs. I'm going to lie to you. My pick is in this game. I'm not going to talk about this in a ton. Go check out the best bets video because my favorite pick of the day is in this game. So I'm actually going to just skip through this one. Go check out the best bets. I do like the D-backs though, hint, hint, but definitely check out the best bets video because I talk about each of these pitchers a little bit more in depth. Pirates and the Padres. Now, I don't want to punt on another game, but this is the game that Logan has touched. Luis Ortiz and Michael King, worth noting, they just faced their other respective teams. Again, another series like the Tigers and Mariners, two teams that just saw each other. I think that obviously leans toward an advantage towards the hitters. Luis Ortiz, not a strikeout guy. Michael King pitched decently against them, gave up 2 or 3, I think 3 earned runs against the Pirates yesterday. A lot of stranded base runners, maybe today. Two offenses figure things out. And go check out the best bets video, see what Logan's on there. Then final game on the slate, one that had no runs yesterday except for one in the 10th inning. Braves taking on the Giants. I think you see runs here. You got the Braves going up against Kyle Harrison, who legit stinks. And then Charlie Morton going up against the Giants. Now, Charlie Morton has just been a straight fade recently. I mean, that guy has not been good. I have a typo here for the Giants bullpen. I believe they're pretty high in ERA, if I'm not mistaken. Giants just can't hit with runners in scoring position and can't hit versus righties. But Charlie Morton, they hit him around, I believe, early in July. I lean runs here. Coming off a 1-0 game, can't score less than that. I think Morton and Harrison give up their runs. Bullpens didn't use a ton of arms yesterday because you got good outings out of Sale and Snell, but so you're going to see some bullpen arms here. I liked some runs though in this game, but again, I'm not touching that game if I'm being honest. Finally, let's wrap up with some hot and cold hitters, good and bad matchups, then a parlay. Here's some guys that are hot and cold. The guys that are hot: Jordan Alvarez, he's scorching that. Bobby Witt Jr. You got Jorge Soler, who's really padded those stats in Colorado. Kyle Schwarber. You have Alex Bregman, and then the rookie who's making a case for Rookie of the Year, Jackson Merrill, who's trying to catch up on Paul Skeens. Now, in terms of the last 7 days, guys that are pretty cold, Jonathan India, 1 for 25. Luis Robert Jr., who I don't know if he'll be in the lineup, probably today, 1 for 18. Volpe, he had a hot, early August, but he's been pretty cold last week or so, 2 for 27. Devers, a guy that's been cold. Shohei Ohtani did hit a homer yesterday, but he's been cold. And Jackson Holliday, he had his Mickey Mouse 3 straight days with a homer. I don't know if he has hit since then. I don't know. I really don't think he has. But again, hopefully he figures things out. Jackson Holliday, we love him. Back in Baltimore going. Hopefully he does something today. Now let's talk about some good and bad matchups and get on out of here. Some good matchups might be some guys you might not have heard of, but I've talked about 2 guys on the Angels that have good splits against Gausman, Kevin Pillar and Rendon. Now Rendon, that guy kind of sucks. I don't know if I'd want to back him. But again, like I said, two Royals with good splits against Ober if he's the starter. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, both crushing him. And then Corey Seager in there for a good matchup. Corey Seager's been swinging a super hot bat. Maybe take him for a ding or Tuesday play. I think he hit a home run yesterday. Guys that are in bad spots: Jose Sanchez, who's the heck's backing him? But Nolan Arenado struggled against Hunter Green. Brandon Lau struggled against Kikuchi. Charlie Blackmon, who knows if he's in here today against the lefty, struggled against Eduardo Rodriguez. So those are some good and bad matchups. Do whatever you want with it. Finally, we wrap up with a parlay. Again, reminder, if you want to and if you can and you haven't signed up, use our code COS. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. Pretty cool offer. You can tail my parlay play entries, which will have a bunch the rest of the MLB season, and then a bunch in the NFL season as well. Probably at least one every Sunday. Here's my 3-legger. I talked about Hunter Green, less than 2.5 earned runs. I think that might be a sweat, but I think he goes at least 1 or 2. But I don't think he goes up 3. Mickey Moniak's been swinging a hot bat for the Angels. He's had a home run yesterday to help us cash our parlay of the day. He's been swinging a hot bat. I'll trust him against Kevin Gausman, that righty on lefty matchup. Then Eduardo Rodriguez. Like I said, I've talked about the Rockies. They struggle versus lefties. He should be able to get close to 6Ks. We'll take my chances there. He has the strikeout pitchers, and the Rockies literally swing at everything. So we'll take that. $20, pay out 98. I like the sound of that. If you want to tail me, go check out Parlay Play. Use our code COS or the link at the top of the description. Get a match in your first deposit up to $100. Y'all have a wonderful day. As a reminder, if you want to check out our best bets video, that will be linked on the screen right here. You can go to hear my thoughts on that D-backs and Rockies game. We'll see if we can bring out the brooms once again. We went 3-0 there yesterday, 5-0 run, trying to go 3-0 at least once again. So you guys have a wonderful day. It's Austin. I'm signing out. I'll see you guys back tomorrow for another episode of The Breakdown. Have a great Dinger Tuesday. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.